We begin with Hardball's David Schuster with a report on the evidence damning Attorney General Alberto Gonzales.
The notes by FBI Director Robert Mueller raise even more questions about the judgment of Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. 3 years ago, while Gonzales was White House counsel, the Bush administration was engaged in a secret program to tap phone calls without court approval. But Attorney General John Ashcroft and his top deputy James Comey both decided the program was illegal and should not be reauthorized. A few hours later, Ashcroft became violently ill with pancreatitis.
The Attorney General was taken that very afternoon to George Washington Hospital, where he went into intensive care and remained there for over a week, and I became the acting Attorney General.
During that week, and while Ashcroft was lying in intensive care following surgery, White House Chief of Staff Andy Card and White House counsel Alberto Gonzales made a sudden visit.
They came over and stood by the bed, greeted the Attorney General very briefly, and then Mr. Gonzales began to discuss why they were there, to seek his approval for a matter.
Ashcroft refused to sign the documents. James Comey also refused. And last month, Gonzales' strong-arm tactics were the subject of a Senate hearing.
About how can you get approval from Ashcroft for anything when he's under sedation and incapacitated? For anything.
May I continue the story, Ms.
No, I want you to answer my question.
There are no rules governing whether or not General Ashcroft can decide. I'm feeling well enough to make this decision.
But Attorney General Gonzales, he had already given up his authority as Attorney General. And Ashcroft was no longer Attorney General.
And he could always reclaim that. There are no rules
while he's in the hospital under sedation.
Gonzales went on to describe Ashcroft as lucid. But FBI Director Mueller, who visited Ashcroft minutes after Gonzales stormed out of the hospital, described Ashcroft as feeble, barely articulate, and stressed. And Mueller's notes support James Comey's testimony that Ashcroft was in no condition to decide issues. Mueller's notes also contradict Gonzales on another issue. Gonzales testified last month that the object of dispute was not the terrorist surveillance program.
The disagreement with Mr. Comey testified about was about other intelligence activities.
But Mueller's notes refer to a single program, and Mueller's notes are consistent with his testimony last month when he was asked directly if the argument was over the TSP.
The discussion was on a national NSA program that has been much discussed, yes.
Huge parts of the Mueller notes are blacked out, including a section related to Vice President Cheney. But the notes do reveal that the Vice President attended a series of meetings during the time of the White House dispute with the Justice Department. Gonzales testified about going to the hospital at the behest of the President. And earlier this summer, President Bush was asked,
"Was it on your order, sir?"
As I said, this program is a necessary program that was constantly reviewed and constantly briefed to the Congress.
But Congress is not satisfied. Lawmakers want a better explanation from the White House as to why officials signed off on trying to steamroll John Ashcroft. And most Democrats and several Republicans in the Senate maintain that Attorney General Gonzales should be fired. I'm David Schuster for Hardball in Washington.